Trick or treat, Halloween is my favorite holiday of all, but this year instead of contributing to your dentist's next vacation, let's skip the cavity-causing sugar treats and make some unique, unforgettable goodies that are completely safe for kids 5 and up. They are ridiculously cheap to make and fast to cut, and the best part, I went ahead and made all the files you need for you for free, so go ahead and download that along with the supplies list, and let's get those lasers fired on. Now, even though all these Halloween treats that we're going to be making today are going to be made with a laser, there are so many other spooky time crafts that we could be making. For example, I've been crocheting since a pretty young age, and I made this pumpkin, which has a little something to do with number 5 of our Halloween cut laser treats, by the way, stay tuned. And I learned this from a class I took on Craftsy, which just so happens to be the sponsor of today's video. Craftsy is your online resource for all things creative, and if you're anything like me, you have more than just a laser hobby. Craftsy offers more than 2,000 exciting classes in over 20 categories like crochet, knitting, painting, photography, cake decorating, which we've decorated cakes before together, woodworking, which I know a lot of you are into, and of course more. Classes are broken down into easy to follow lessons and are led by friendly award-winning instructors who share very clear step-by-step demonstrations. I was actually inspired to make this pumpkin from a crochet class called Crochet Cactus Garden by Amy Gaines. This one looked a little pumpkin-y to me, and as a bonus, Amy also showed how to make these little crochet cactus flowers, which I turned into the top of the pumpkin. Next up, I plan to go wild in the baking classes. To join the Craftsy community just like me, experience other exclusive classes, and access to oodles of downloadables, that's my favorite, go to this QR code or my link down below and get the first full year of Craftsy Premium for only $1.49. Crazy. Offers valid for new members only. Now let's get into these Halloween treats. There are 2 things to note with these designs. One is that they are for older kids who aren't going to chew on these. So for little babies or slobbery toddlers, go ahead and give their parents a piece of candy or two, because let's face it, it's the parents who are eating all that candy. And secondly, since we are dealing with children, make sure the materials you are choosing is safe for kids. If you find a sharp edge on something, be sure to file anything down that could give a splinter or cut somebody. Safety is first, as always. Number 1, Halloween Shoelace Charms. It just takes one popular kid to make something cool throughout the whole school, and you could help the trendsetters of your community by introducing some eye-catching shoe accessories. I made these shoelace charms in 3 styles. We've got ghosts, bats, and bones. You could easily make these out of either MDF or wood, or my favorite, acrylic. Utilizing my new Monport 45CO2 Reno Pro laser, we can cut through acrylic like butter. And with acrylic, you can get some basic, super inexpensive colors that you can quickly cut, peel off the masking. Gorilla duct tape helps wonders. And then they're pretty much just ready to go. Of course, as a bonus, because you know I'm here for you, I also made these printouts to display the shoe charms. This helps people to get what they are and adds to the perceived value of this treat. I just use this double-sided tape, or you can do good old tape loop to hold this into place on the paper. It's easy to peel off and put on to your cool kicks. Number 2, MDF Puzzles. A tried and true classic laser craft. The one I have created for you is jack-o'-lantern inspired. The puzzle pieces are on the bigger side, so kids won't hopefully choke on them, at least not very easily. That's why it's important to hand these out to age-appropriate kiddos. On my file, there are 2 colors for the jack-o'-lantern. The outside is meant to be cut, and the face shapes, you can either set that to engrave or to line engrave and save on a little bit of time. A line engrave is essentially a low-level cut line, not meant to cut all the way through. On my 45-watt Monport, the setting for this is working pretty good at about 50 millimeters per second for the speed. and 15% max for the power. Of course, your laser and laser programs might require completely different settings, so give a few tries and see what works for you. I recommend MDF for this. Not only is MDF super inexpensive, but it's a kid-friendly material. There's no splinters and you can file away any sharp edge. Now, these are not very difficult puzzles, but as you may know, most puzzles come with a reference picture. But instead of a picture, I made these fun riddle cutouts so the kids can figure out the shape they need to make, if it's not obvious already. The jack-o'-lantern riddle says, "You scoop me out with a careful hand and carve a grinning face as planned. A tiny light inside me gleams, shining on Halloween dreams. What am I? Solve the puzzle to find out." I just put all these in a little bag and they are ready to go. Number 3, a Squiggle Stencil. Okay, most people would probably call this a spirograph, but I'm gonna keep calling it a Squiggle Stencil because it's way more fun, and I think these are great. I just don't see kids playing with things like this the way I did back in the day. The best part is we can cut a whole bunch out and kind of mix and match the colors and sizes, so every set is a little bit different and super fun. These gears could easily be cut out of wood, but I'm gonna use some Halloween color acrylics. Why not? I've got them laying around. There is text on there that you can skip out on to save even more on your cut time, so that's totally optional. You might be able to find some fun pens or pencils that are Halloween-y in bulk, or maybe even a notepad to pair along with these at a place like the Dollar Tree. I think I'm just gonna hand them out the way they are. I'm sure these kids have a pen handy. Put them all in a bag, and again, now they're ready to go. Number 4, a pop-out play set. These are some of my favorites to design. I made a little chick for Easter this year, so let's do it again, but for Halloween. I went for a pumpkin shape, of course. We're staying on theme. I recommend MDF over plywood to minimize the possibility of splinters when the shapes are punched out specifically. There are instructions on the pop-out play sets to decorate like a jack-o'-lantern. Again, if you want to, you can do a line engrave for the text. I went ahead and did a fill engrave, just real low power and pretty high speed. Do test these on materials you plan on using, as the measurements may need to be altered. I do have an Inkscape tutorial on just that should you need it, so the base fits perfectly onto the pumpkin. Just like the last one, if you get your hands on some markers, that would pair really well with these play sets. It would be easy enough to have a nice stack of these ready to go by the time the trick-or-treaters come to the door. And these you don't need to put in a bag, so you pretty much take them out of your laser and they're ready to go. Number 5, sticker-backed face pieces. I am the most excited for this one. The setup is quick and the materials are cheap. We can make pretty much any material a sticker with a sheet of 3M sticker paper. I'm going to use 1/16 or 1 millimeter thin black acrylic, which is super inexpensive, and we are going to get a lot of jack-o'-lantern face pieces out of it. Plus, since it's so thin, it cuts out pretty darn quick. A diode laser should be able to cut through this type of acrylic also, but if you want to use thin wood or MDF, the 3M sticker back paper will work on that as well. I'm actually going to take off the masking on the opposite side before I laser it. The acrylic won't be perfectly polished, but I'm sure your neighborhood kids won't mind. This will save us on time trying to peel all those little pieces. Of course, I made a printout for these as well. I think I've pretty much got Halloween covered for you this year, and don't forget they're all available for download for free. Got links down below. There's no need to sign up to an email list or anything. It's just available for you. However, I think it would be a good idea for you to sign up to my email list if you'd like me to send things like this straight to your inbox and a bunch of other laser business stuff, so consider that. Remember that little pumpkin I crocheted? Now we can decorate it. The sticker paper just peels right off and sticks right on. What do you think of my little jack-o'-lantern? Thanks again to Craftsy for sponsoring this video and keeping me on my creative toes. Here's that QR code again. I can't wait to hear all about what you are making next. And if you want to see what I made last Halloween with just a few supplies from the Dollar Tree, then check out this video next. Thanks for watching and happy Halloween!